Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sam Zagar. We're doing another YouTube reading. Today we're going to be reading for a 5-1 mental projector. Let's get into their intake form. So what is the problem that they need help with? I'm having trouble bringing passion and creativity into my day-to-day. I'm highly sensitive and driven by learning, but I'm such a sleepy projector who needs a lot of downtime after working a full-time remote job. I'm having a hard time using that downtime to create something long-lasting that builds upon itself. My greatest accomplishment is what I have learned, but it is hard to be recognized for this when much of what I create goes into my job and not into my own passions. That stands out to me a lot. My passions are human design, pole dancing, understanding the people in my life, and the connections between all the varied bodies of metaphysical knowledge we have access to. Just in that sentence, though, I heard a couple actually similar things. My passions are human design, understanding people in my life, connections between all these different bodies of knowledge. I'm really hearing a projector here. Like, really, I'm hearing, I love to know people. I like to know how people work. That's such a projector thing. What is this person's biggest question? What are they actually, why do they want this reading? What are the gifts you see in my chart? What are my sources of creativity? What are my insights? This is one of those F around and find out kind of readings. Someone's bringing me a little bit of a problem and they're saying, Sam, can you just look at my chart and tell me what's coming up for you? Absolutely. Love to. What else are they curious about? Potent opportunities for shadow work in their chart. I'm going to give a little bit of nuance here. I don't use the terms shadow and light in my work. It doesn't matter to me if you use them. I just don't give them back that way. I find that the shadow work stuff tends to be a little bit more like gene keys, psychological, self-development kind of stuff. But I know what the person's saying. Where are the not self qualities? What's the not self stuff that's showing up in my design that's probably blocking me from whatever my projector success is? And anything else they need me to know. This is usually my favorite part of the intake form. Anything else you need me to know, because this is where people give me a little bit more like personal context about their life. And I love that to be able to actually relate the information back to them in a very specific kind of way. So this person is currently a textbook curriculum writer working remotely. They used to teach high school. Their remote work has been very helpful for their projector nature, but they don't feel happy doing it. It's not satisfying or sustainable, of course. They want to go back to school to be a public librarian because they thrive when they get to exchange information with others. I want you to hear a little bit of the self-recognition that's already happening here. I thrive when I get to exchange information with others. Also, go back into what was this person's passion? There's a connection here, and it's a very projector connection. But they also say, I don't know if a full-time commitment is a good idea for me given my chart. The idea of commitment when you're a projector is tricky, right? Because commitment has so much to do with sustainability, as in generators respond. I have the energy. I can commit to this. This is sustainable. When you're talking to any kind of projector or reflector or even manifester, the question of, is this commitment going to last for me? That's a tough one. We got to work with your authority a little bit on this one. Okay. And then also looking forward to any other insights that I have. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. So what exactly stands out about this person's chart to me? As soon as I looked at this chart, here's what immediately stands out. Their conscious sun is gate 23. Their conscious earth is gate 43. Together, those make the channel of structuring. The channel of structuring is the only channel in this mental projector's body graph. So being a mental projector, we know that there is some type of mental above the throat definition, but we also know that there's nothing below the throat. So what is the authority for this person? Tricky one, right? Depending on where you're looking, you could see soundboarding, you could see environment, you could see no inner authority, you could see processing, you could see a few different words, but ultimately, if this is my client and I'm helping them to connect to their authority, they need to talk, and they need to talk quite a bit. But it's not speaking to hear their own identity. It's not speaking and soundboarding the way that a self-projected projector does. This person is sharing a little bit differently about what they're processing. Now we're dealing with the channel structuring, which has a nickname of like genius to freak channel. And it's an abrasive description so that when you hear it, you go, oh, yeah, that's why that's so uncomfortable. This is a projected channel. All projected channels have to be recognized and invited. Now, this is an individual channel. We have conscious personality side, pure individual because we only have one individual channel and no other kinds of channels. So we're only dealing with pure individual circuitry for this person. I have a highly mutative acoustic being who is always processing all of these different concepts and would love to be invited to share them with other people. If they're not being invited, it's really awkward and hard to get those words out. You're likely going to be rejected for what you say because people are going to go, where did that come from? What are they talking about? Right? Like it doesn't land with your audience. Now, if you're a little kid projector and you grow up with this channel, you feel like a weirdo. You feel alien. You feel foreign. You feel outcast for a lot of different reasons. Being pure individual is absolutely one of them. But pure individual with this channel in particular, you have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of very different concepts to talk about, but not everyone's open to hearing about them. And it's not that they don't like them, it's that they really just can't understand them. They can't take them in. As a projector, when somebody recognizes and invites you, it's kind of their way of acknowledging to you, like, I'm ready for what you have to say. I'm in a place where I actually can take your guidance. If you're a projector and nobody's asking you for something, the people around you aren't ready for what you have to offer. And the scary thing is, what if they never are? That would signify to me that you're in the wrong place with the wrong people. Is this projector in the wrong place with the wrong people? A few things kind of get my attention about this. They've said that they're working remotely. Now, on one hand, for projector energy, I think that's fairly safe. I wouldn't call it nourishing, but I'd say that it lacks a level of conditioning. And in that, it can be regulating. To be a projector and to be alone means to be out of influence, means I actually get to feel myself as myself. But I'm not meant to be alone as a projector. Projectors are very easily and highly conditioned because we're actually meant to take on the other. So it's not about avoiding the conditioning of the other. It's about knowing who you are and being so good in who you are that your awareness of the conditioning of others gives you a little bit more like, do I want to participate in that? You know? So I've got someone who's working remotely. On one hand, I think that's good for a projector. On the other hand, I go, who are you actually guiding? Now, this person said that they have been writing textbooks. There's an intellectual quality to what's going on. There's a teacher quality to what's going on. Now, when I look at the 5-1 profile, I absolutely see that. The 5 is here to universalize practical advice, which means that the 5 is the most common teacher, the most likely teacher, and really the most comfortable teacher because they're like, yeah, I'm here to universalize. They're not the best teacher. The 1 is the best teacher. The 1 is actually the true teacher because it's the one that cares the most that the foundation is secure and solid and that the information is accurate and can be built upon. So when I meet a 5-1 profile, in many ways, I am meeting like genetically what could be the best possible teacher because I've got someone who at a physical level is very concerned that the information they're dealing with is accurate, but they have an ability to universalize it to people. Now I'm like, yeah, this 5 could universalize all this information to strangers if invited to do so. So you don't just get up on a stage and start blasting all the teaching information that you have. People aren't listening. You have to be recognized and invited. This is someone I want to recognize and invite to get up onto like the university stage to lecture the whole class about something or whatever. But what is this person's environment? That's always a concern to me. There's projector lifestyle. I get very concerned about this. When people start talking about projector lifestyle, I'm like, ooh, there's kind of like a day-to-day flow that feels good for a projector. Like, yeah, we're like the rest oriented. Like we kind of live a life that's supposed to look a little bit like resort lifestyle in the fact that we're resting, we're not working too hard, we're like being invited, like, sure, right? But you can't forget what the projector signature is. The projector signature is success. Success has to mean something in someone's life. And for me, at a rudimentary level, success in my life means that it's okay that I'm a non energy type. I'm not struggling for resources as a non energy type. Now, I have sometimes clients that are like, I live my projector lifestyle. Like, I'm chilling. I'm not working too hard. So, where's my success? And I'm like, well, that's kind of the kicker with success. Success actually does kind of imply that you're working to some extent, but work as a projector is a guiding role. A projector lifestyle isn't about being alone or avoiding conditioning. A projector lifestyle is knowing yourself well enough to only go into the places where you've been recognized and invited and compensated. And in that, you're actually getting your real success and it's building your reputation. If you're really living a successful projector lifestyle, you have success and a reputation, not just, space to rest, space to be yourself. The kicker is it's the success that helps you afford the space to be yourself. But sometimes I have projectors where it's like they're staying with their parents or a partner's taking care of them or whatever. And they're just kind of like hiding and trying not to like have to deal with too much. And they're like, I think I'm being a good projector. And I'm like, no, you're just kind of hiding from the world. That's a little bit different. Being a projector isn't just about like withdrawing until somebody tells you you have to be the good projector. Like, so where is some of this coming to? This person's environment is kitchens. Now, this person is a left-oriented environment because the tonal level is 1, 2, or 3. For this person, the tonal level is a 3. I've got a third color, third tone active in their environment. This is a this is a kitchen. This is a wet kitchen, but it's like an active wet kitchens and also with a visual component to it. The quality of cognition within this person's environment would be outer vision. However, this person's cognition is feelings cognition. When we say cognition, we're talking about the real one that belongs to the brain. But when we're within environment, I acknowledge this as a quality of cognition. Just like when we're in view perspective, there's a quality of sense that is similar to the actual sense and the motivation. Okay. So when I'm looking at this person's environment, kitchens, what does kitchens actually mean? Diversity, alchemy, mutation, adaptation, trial and error. There's a very creative process to this. What were some of the biggest questions from my 5-1 mental projector? What are the gifts? Where is my creativity hiding? Some of your creativity is hiding in the kitchen. Are you in the kitchen? And I don't mean your kitchen. I mean, are you actually in a place where multiple things can come together to make a new recipe? Multiple ingredients can alchemize to make something new. I hear the want to, should I go to a library job? Because I would love to be in the library. I would love to be exchanging information. Now, even though I'm acknowledging that this person has a left body in their environment, I said they had feelings cognition. Feelings is a 5. 5 at a tonal level will create rightness. So this person has a passive brain and a receptive mind. So I have a projector who's waiting to be invited, but they're also waiting to be asked. It's a little bit different. When we're talking about the mind, I have a receptive mind here with desire motivation and acceptance sense behind it. What I think would feel absolutely amazing to this person is to be put in a position where people have to approach them for guidance, direction, questions, information, where they can exchange information with people and they can kind of send them on their way a little bit. And if they need more, they can come back and ask a little bit more. Now, I don't know if librarian is the best role for this. Sometimes when we describe something that would feel really good, we go, oh, that sounds like a librarian. Okay, so let's become a librarian. But I'm like, ooh, I got to be careful there because you could end up in training that has so much to do with like how to organize a Dewey Decimal System when what you really care is like you want to link the right person to the right material that they're looking for. That's one of my bigger things with projectors. A lot of the times there's this like the expectation that the system has a job title, like my system is information, so my job title is librarian. And but again, that's too narrow of a focus for what your skill set is. I'm not saying don't be a librarian. And I can't even really speak to whether that commitment is right for you. However, there's a soundboarding component. And you already brought to me the question of, I don't know if a full time commitment is a mistake given my chart. That tells me that you already have that concern. You already have that awareness that it might not be right for you. If you feel like you're needing to initiate this, it's probably part of why this doesn't feel right for you. There's a good chance that the role that you're meant to be in just isn't one that has an existing job title. So it's very hard to know how to work towards developing that as your actual recognized position. That's a fun thing. I don't want to call it career. I want to call it like, what's your recognized position? Ooh, kind of like that. Let's go back to what your passions are. My passions are human design, pole dancing, understanding the people in my life, and the connections between all the varied bodies of metaphysical knowledge. Honestly, the only thing that doesn't like quite fit there is pole dancing. And it's not to say that pole dancing can't be a passion, but it was like you gave me three of one and one of another. And the three of one was like, I love studying human behavior. People are interesting, systems are interesting. I love knowledge. I want to know how it all works together. But then the other thing that was a passion was, wow, I have a lot of stuff going on inside of me. I have taken on people, I've taken on feelings, I've taken on information, I have just taken on so much, and I'm feeling bloated, overwhelmed, burdened, stagnant, whatever that kind of feeling is, where you just need to release, you need to move. And one of my questions is, are you actually getting enough? Are you getting enough of the stimulation where you are? Because I feel like if you're working at home remotely with information, not even necessarily with people, you are not getting the actual stimulation that you need. And so if you go pole dancing, does this represent the kitchen in any way? Does this give your body that physical, healthy, active outlet that it needs from time to time? You know, this is a non-motored projector. This is someone who has no consistent energy, no consistent access to power. I would feel like there's a good chance that anything that has to do with a heavier physical activity from you comes from needing to feel like you've emptied out in some kind of way. And also I know that there's like a flow to those kinds of dancing. So I'm wondering if like is the way that you are in your day-to-day life, like are you too rigid normally? And that's giving you like, is it getting you back into your body? Is it getting you to connect with different parts of you? Like, and I don't think that you're here to be a guide of pole dancing. You know, I think that this is a physical expression that feels regulating in some way or validating or good to the nervous system or just a good way for you to see yourself. Maybe there's mirrors all over the studio and you think you really look hot and this is some level of self-recognition. I think it's cool that that's an interest, but I don't see it as part of your projector role. And so much of what I've been trying to look at is like, really, what is the projector role? Is there anything else that I want to say? Because these aren't meant to be terribly long readings, but is there anything else I feel like I need to check in? I'm such a sleepy projector who needs a lot of downtime. Highly sensitive. Of course, you're highly sensitive. Look how open your whole design is. You're crazy sensitive. And when I say you need to go out into the kitchen for like that busyness, that stimulation, that alchemy, it's not any kitchen. It's not just like, oh, that's a busy place. Let's get into it because that could be very unhealthy for you. Talk about things. Do I want to go there? Do I want to go there? What felt good about that? What didn't feel good about that? And pay a lot of attention to how the physical body feels in different environments. Your G center's like literally everything is open below the throat. So if you get into a place and you're like, I'm very, very uncomfortable here, especially if you hear yourself say, I'm very uncomfortable. I don't like this. I don't want to be here. I don't leave. Strategy and authority. Are you really, really waiting to be asked? Do you have people that are actually helping you talk things out? Do you have people that respect when you say that you don't feel comfortable with something and you'd like to move on? Who invites you out of the house? Who invites you to do things? Who recognizes how intellectual you are? Did anybody suggest that you should be a librarian? Did anybody suggest any like further training or education they could see you in? Is the idea of being a librarian behind a desk similar to a different cellular desire that you have to be the oracle? And even that is like, I get a little bit of chills when I say that because I don't actually mean anything by it, but I do. Are you meant to be more of the oracle? And do we just not quite know how to market it? If you're getting a yes for that, just know that my projector marketing strategy for all projectors is strategy, authority, and the four transformations. You don't have to do, you don't have to initiate. You just have to be, and you have to be you as much as you possibly can be. And it's not the same way as like the generator is here to know themselves. It's not like that. It's not about knowing yourself through response or anything like that. It's about developing yourself as you are. Do you respect your strategy? Do you respect your authority? Are you feeding your brain appropriately? Calm, determination. Are you in the right environment? Active kitchen. Are you seeing the way that you're supposed to see? Possibility view. And are you actually becoming the correct outer authority that you're meant to be, which is desire motivation in a receptive mind? Now, on top of that, I'm still working with this 5-1 profile. It's interesting to read a chart for a 5-1. And now that I'm thinking about this, I'm like, has everyone been a 5? Have my first 3 YouTube readings all been conscious 5s? Well, that's an interesting one. That in itself tells me that 5s are really saying, Sam, I want to see how you see me. What's the projection you'll put on me? And I'm doing it publicly. I guess we'll see what you thought about it. All right. That's it for now.